How do you find the argument of a complex number? Now remember, the argument of a complex number is basically the angle that the complex number makes with the positive real axis. That's basically the positive x-axis on our Argand diagram. Now there's two things that we need to know. Okay, I'll call this value alpha. That will be an angle. It will be the tan inverse of the modulus of the imaginary part of our complex number divided by the real part of the same complex number. Right? This modulus symbol just basically says, hey, drop any negatives, whether that negative be in the imaginary part or the real part of the complex number. Now, the second thing that we need to remember is basically this diagram, right? We draw our axes, and depending on where our complex number is, whether it's the first, second, third, or fourth quadrant, right, we will change the formula for our argument of set. All right. Now the first quadrant, you can imagine our complex number is here, second quadrant it's here, third quadrant it's here, and fourth quadrant our complex number would look like that. All right. The diagrams that or the setups that we need to remember would be the first quadrant, it just go from the remember the positive real axis, we going up to the complex number itself, right? Because we're going in the anti-clockwise direction, that will just be positive alpha. In the second quadrant, we're moving from, again, the positive x-axis. We go around by 180, which is pi, right? So I'm going to write it down, pi. But then we're going in the clockwise direction by alpha. So we need to actually subtract, right? Because remember, clockwise is negative and anti-clockwise is positive. Right now, we know what alpha is. In the third quadrant, we start at the positive real axis and we go all the way around, right? Remember, because we're going clockwise, we are basically going in a negative direction. So we need to have a negative pi, and we go anti-clockwise by alpha. So we simply need to add alpha, right? That's the third quadrant. And then the final quadrant, the fourth quadrant, we simply go in the negative direction. So this will be negative alpha.